Hi everyone, Sandra Vale here at Homesteading Ways, and today we're going to be making sauerkraut. And one of the first things you're going to want to do is get yourself a scale, whatever kind you have, and weigh your cabbage. This is a really large flathead cabbage, and I have a small red one. You can use whatever cabbage you want. And the reason you want to weigh it is because you want to get the salt to cabbage ratio correct. You use about 3 tablespoons of salt for every 5 pounds of cabbage. And you're not going to want table salt. You don't want anything like that, because they can have fillers, caking, anti-caking agents and stuff like that. That's not going to work well with your sauerkraut. So you're going to want either a sea salt or a pickling salt, and the pickling salt dissolves really well, and the sea salt you're going to want fine. And I'm going to be using sea salt myself, and I don't have any fine, so I'm just going to grind it up a little extra. But let's get started with getting the cabbage ready. Okay, to get started, you're going to take your cabbage and take off all the outer leaves. Throw them to the chickens, rabbits, whatever. Just don't want those. Overall, this looks really good. So you're going to want to cut off the core here, the stem. Careful with that. Icky little piece there. Then you're going to cut it in half. And then again, so you'll be cutting it in quarters. Then we're going to cut out the core. It's too hard and it won't help at all with your kraut. Now if you had a mandolin, well, it would be a great time to take it out and start using it. I don't have one. I used to cut myself on it all the time. Guess I'm not real talented here in the kitchen as much as I'd like to think I am, but anyhow, you're going to slice this all up, and you're going to want to get it as thin as you can. So right now it's not as thin as I would like it, so I'm going to sharpen my knife, and then I'm going to cut it up just a little bit thinner than what it is now. Okay, I'm about halfway through the cabbage here. So what I'm going to do is start adding some of my salt. Now, because I have such a large amount of cabbage, I did say 3 tablespoons for 5 pounds, but I have like 8.5 pounds. So I am going to be using 5 tablespoons. So I'm going to sprinkle it around. About half of it. I'm going to start working it in. And working it in is just, you know, spreading around and just grabbing and kind of massaging the cabbage. I'll do this for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'll get back to cutting the cabbage. Okay, it's all sliced up, so now I'm gonna finish adding my salt here. Trying to spread this around. And then I'm going to work it in again. And what you're doing is you're just grabbing and squeezing for the most part. You know, flipping it over, incorporating that salt. And as you do it, the salt is pulling out liquid from the cabbage. So the more you break it up, the more liquid you're going to be getting. Now, here's one big chunk, not a good idea. You're going to want to do this for like, I'd say 2 or 3 minutes. But then, after that, you can take something heavy or blunt, or both, kind of like this thing here, and just start pounding it. Now this works great too, instead of, you know, doing the squeezing, if you're not able to squeeze really well, if you don't have very strong hands, or maybe you have arthritis or something else along the lines that prevents you from, you know, doing a bunch of squeezing. So whether you're squeezing or pounding like this, or a combination of the two, you're going to want to do that for about 8 to 10 minutes. And as you're pounding it down, stop, you know, kind of try and get underneath there and incorporate what was on the bottom of the bowl, the first half, into the top. And then keep on with the squeezing and or pounding. When I'm all done, I'll show you how we start to get it to sitting. Okay, after I pounded it down for the like 8 to 10 minutes, I also let it sit for a few minutes. Now we're going to get it into our jars. I wasn't sure how much this was going to make, so I got 3 jars ready. And I got a cookie sheet under there because they may leak a little bit while they're fermenting. I guess I did too much there. Hang on. So you'll want to put a plate or something underneath to catch that. And you want to pack it down. You want to get the air bubbles out of there. It's about as full as I'd want it to go. Pack it down a little bit further. Use that either. If you want, go ahead and use just a wooden spoon to keep, you know, packing it in there. And in the bottom of the bowl, you can see the brine already. It's a really pretty purple color because of the red. I'll add a little bit more, trying to get some of that brine in there. Pack it down a little bit more. Now I can already see from here that there's probably not going to be enough brine for all of this cabbage, and that happens. So you need this to be covered with liquid. If it's not, then make yourself a 2% brine. And all that is 1 tablespoon of the sea salt with 4 cups of water. And then just add a little bit in there. Make sure it's covered all the way. You don't want your jars all the way full. You want to leave about 2 inches of head space because this will rise up. Okay, it's pretty well covered, and just a little bit more to be on the safe side. And then I'm just going to put a lid on it. And just finger tight. You don't want it too tight. After about a day, I'm going to come back and check this. And all I'm going to do is like burp it. And that's just, you know, taking the lid off to let the little gases out. And you don't have to keep doing that. Do that after a day or so. And then we're going to let this sit somewhere where it can be undisturbed. A corner of your countertop. If you can get it somewhere a little cool and dark, that'd be even better. Okay, it's been about a week, and here is our moment of truth. We're going to open these up. Well, I should say on the first day, I did open each one. Wow, look at that. It looks so nice. Sometimes you get a little scuzzy, icky stuff on top, and that's okay. If you do get it, you can just scoop it all out. See, that's why some people will weigh their stuff down, so if no oxygen whatsoever gets in there, and if there is any little nasties, they'll be on whatever it is they weighed it down or whatever. But this one looks really good to me. I'm gonna take a smell. Oh my goodness, it smells just like sauerkraut. So out of that really big head of flathead cabbage and then the smaller one of the red cabbage, I ended up with 4 quarts and 1 pint. I just want to check and see if there are any bad ones. Oh, just beautiful. Might be a little discolored in there. We'll see. Let's try this little one. Look at all that bubbling. You know how much goodness is in there? You're going to love this. This is going to be the best sauerkraut you ever had. Perfect for all your recipes. Ooh, that one is not so good. Let's see if I can get you. Can you see that? I'm going to probably end up taking a whole bunch of that off. You can see down here, you know, it still looks good. We're going to end up taking, I'd say at least, I'm going to take the third off, the top third, and see how it looks underneath there. I'm just going to put that off to the side. And let's check this last one. Can you still see all that bubbling? Isn't that awesome? There. This one too. See, it's got a little bit of icky on there. And with both of them, you can see that the brine isn't up on top. It dried, and that was probably part of the problem. But down here, we're going to have to look. We're going to dump this out in a bowl, and I think this jar may have bad throughout it. It does smell like sauerkraut, but we're going to go through this. I'm going to dump it into a bowl. Well, I'm going to take the top off first, and then dump the rest into a bowl and see what that looks like. And, you know, usually when you have something bad, you'll know by smell alone. But we're going to check this one out pretty well. We'll put that over. But if anything, these 3 really turned out great. It's worth the time. You know, chopping and whatever. It's not that much time. And your money. I mean, this would cost you a lot more in the store than it would your little bit of cabbage. And just the health benefits alone are definitely worth it. Once you try your own homemade kraut, you're never going to want to go back to store-bought again. Anyhow, if you have any questions or comments, please make sure to put them down in comments and I'll answer them the best I can. Or, you know, if you have any tips or secrets of the trade you want to share with the rest of us, that would be great too. Thumbs up the video if you liked it, share it, and subscribe. That would be awesome. Remember, we're having our videos now every Wednesday at 6 p.m. So if you're subscribed, it'll show up in your feed right away. Thanks for taking the time to watch it. I really appreciate it. It was nice talking to you guys, and you take care.